In today's video, we will explore 20 dinners that were once iconic but are now nearly forgotten. These meals define decades, reflecting the culture, innovation, and flavors of their time. From wartime ingenuity to post-war opulence and everything in between, these dishes take us back to a different culinary era. Number 1. Prune Whip. Prune Whip was a unique dessert popular during the Great Depression and World War II due to its simplicity and economical ingredients. This dish utilized prunes, which were widely available and affordable, making them a staple in many households during these challenging times. Prune Whip is made by stewing prunes until they are soft and then pureeing them into a smooth consistency. The prune puree is then combined with sugar and egg whites, which are whipped into stiff peaks to create a light, airy texture. The mixture is then baked or chilled to set, resulting in a fluffy dessert with a unique, slightly tart flavor profile. The appeal of Prune Whip lay not only in its taste, but also in its nutritional benefits. Prunes are a rich source of dietary fiber, vitamins, and minerals such as potassium and vitamin K, making this dessert both a tasty and somewhat health-conscious choice during times when nutritional value was crucial, yet resources were scarce. The dish also cleverly avoided the use of dairy or fats, which were often rationed during wartime, making it accessible to a wider audience. Additionally, Prune Whip was versatile. It could be served on its own, paired with a dollop of whipped cream, or used as a filling in various other desserts, adding a layer of sweetness and texture. The light and airy nature of Prune Whip made it a suitable dessert for those who wanted something sweet without the heaviness of traditional cakes or pies. Despite its practicality and popularity in the past, Prune Whip has largely disappeared from modern menus and home kitchens. However, it remains a fascinating example of how culinary practices adapted to the economic realities of the time, demonstrating resilience and creativity in the kitchen. As we look back at this forgotten dish, it's a reminder of how food not only nourishes, but also tells a story of cultural and historical significance. Number 2. Codfish Balls. Codfish balls were a popular dish during the Great Depression and World War II, offering a simple yet flavorful way to stretch limited resources. This dish was primarily made using salt cod, a preserved fish that was affordable and had a long shelf life, making it a staple in many households. The preparation involved soaking the salt cod in water to remove excess salt, then mixing it with mashed potatoes, onions, and spices. The mixture was then shaped into small balls coated in breadcrumbs and deep fried until crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Codfish balls were not just economical but also packed with flavor, thanks to the saltiness of the cod and the seasoning. This made them a favorite at dinner tables, providing a hearty meal that was both filling and satisfying. The use of potatoes in the recipe was particularly significant. Potatoes were cheap, widely available, and could easily bulk up dishes, making them a critical ingredient in many Depression-era recipes. In some variations, fresh herbs like parsley or dill were added to the mixture for an extra burst of flavor. Codfish balls were often served with a side of vegetables or a simple salad, but they could also be part of a larger spread, paired with homemade tartar sauce or a squeeze of lemon to enhance their taste. Despite their decline in popularity as more diverse and fresh seafood options became accessible, codfish balls remain a nostalgic comfort food in certain regions, especially in parts of New England, where they continue to be a traditional dish. They reflect a time when resourcefulness in the kitchen was key, and every ingredient had to be used to its fullest potential, embodying a culinary resilience that defined an era. Number 3. Cottage Cheese Loaf. Cottage cheese loaf became a popular dish during the Great Depression and World War II, offering an affordable and nutritious alternative to meat-based meals. This loaf was primarily made from cottage cheese, which was both cheap and widely available, serving as a versatile base that provided a good source of protein, calcium, and essential vitamins. The recipe typically combined cottage cheese with breadcrumbs, eggs, onions, and a variety of spices to enhance the flavor. Some versions also included grated vegetables like carrots or zucchini to add texture and increase the nutritional value. The preparation was simple. All ingredients were mixed together until they formed a cohesive mixture, which was then shaped into a loaf and baked until golden brown and firm. The result was a savory dish with a dense but tender texture, reminiscent of a traditional meatloaf but without the expense of meat. Cottage cheese loaf was often served with a tomato sauce or a simple gravy, which complemented its mild flavor and added a bit of moisture, making it more palatable. During this era, cottage cheese loaf was particularly popular among vegetarians and those looking to cut costs while maintaining a balanced diet. It became a staple in many households not only because of its affordability, but also because it could be easily adapted to include whatever ingredients were on hand. Additionally, the loaf could be prepared ahead of time and reheated, making it convenient for busy families. Though it has fallen out of favor in modern kitchens, cottage cheese loaf remains an interesting example of how people adapted their cooking practices to economic constraints, creating dishes that were both economical and nutritious. Its decline is largely due to the increasing availability of more diverse ingredients and the modern preference for lighter, more vibrant dishes. However, it still holds nostalgic value for those who grew up with it, and it continues to be appreciated in some circles for its simplicity and comforting taste. Number 4, Nutloaf. Nutloaf emerged as a popular meat alternative during the scarcity of the 1940s, particularly in vegetarian households and among those adhering to wartime rationing. This loaf was made using a combination of ground nuts, often walnuts or pecans, mixed with breadcrumbs, eggs, and a selection of vegetables like onions and celery to create a dense, savory loaf. The nuts provided a rich, earthy flavor and a hearty texture that made the dish substantial and filling, making it a perfect centerpiece for a dinner. The loaf was often seasoned with herbs such as thyme, sage, and parsley to enhance its flavor profile and provide aromatic depth. Nutloaf was typically baked in a loaf pan until it formed a firm crust, making it easy to slice and serve. It was commonly paired with gravy or a tomato-based sauce to add moisture and complement the nutty flavor. Its appeal lay in its versatility, as the recipe could be easily modified based on the available ingredients, making it an adaptable choice for families with limited supplies. The dish also catered to the growing interest in vegetarianism during the period, offering a protein-rich alternative to traditional meat dishes. Today, Nutloaf is less common, but still appreciated in vegetarian circles for its nostalgic value and hearty, comforting qualities. Number 5, Rabbit Stew. Rabbit stew was a popular dish during times of scarcity, especially in the 1940s, as rabbit meat was seen as a more sustainable and affordable alternative to traditional meats like beef or pork. And this dish was made by slowly simmering rabbit pieces in a broth with a mix of vegetables such as carrots, onions, potatoes, and sometimes peas or celery. The slow cooking process tenderized the lean meat, infusing it with the flavors of the broth and vegetables. The stew was often thickened with flour or cornstarch, giving it a hearty consistency that made it a filling meal. Rabbit meat was favored not just for its affordability, but also for its nutritional benefits, as it is high in protein and lower in fat compared to other meats. The meat's slightly gamey flavor paired well with robust seasonings such as thyme, bay leaves, garlic, and sometimes a splash of red wine, which enhanced the depth of the stew. Rabbit stew was versatile and could be adapted with whatever vegetables or seasonings were on hand, making it a practical dish that could stretch to feed a family. Despite its decline in popularity, it remains a nostalgic dish in some cultures, particularly in rural and traditional communities. Number 6, war cake. War cake is a dessert born out of necessity during World War I and World War II, when ingredients like butter, milk, and eggs were rationed. The cake was made using simple, non-perishable ingredients such as flour, sugar, spices, and dried fruits like raisins or currants, which provided natural sweetness and moisture. The absence of traditional baking ingredients required creative substitutions. Water, for instance, replaced milk, and lard or shortening was used instead of butter. The batter was often mixed with brewed tea or coffee, which enhanced the flavor profile and gave the cake a darker color and richer taste. War cake was not only a reflection of the frugal cooking methods of the time, but also a symbol of resilience and ingenuity. Housewives use this recipe to maintain a sense of normalcy and comfort despite the hardships of war. The cake's preparation involved boiling the dried fruits with sugar and water before adding the dry ingredients, creating a thick, moist batter. This boiling method, combined with the extended baking time, helped achieve a dense, hearty texture that could be stored for longer periods without refrigeration. War cake was often made in large batches to last through the week, serving as a humble reminder of the era's resourcefulness and the home front's effort to support the war. Number 7. Chicken cacciatore. Chicken cacciatore evolved from a practical meal for hunters into a beloved dish recognized for its rich, comforting flavors. Traditionally, this recipe was flexible, utilizing ingredients on hand such as tomatoes, bell peppers, onions, and garlic, which created a deeply flavorful base. Hunters would prepare it with either chicken or rabbit, simmered with red wine to infuse the meat with a robust taste while softening it for a tender finish. This slow-cooked process allowed the vegetables to break down and meld into a thick, savory sauce, perfect for dipping with rustic bread. Variations of chicken cacciatore differ across Italy, with some regions incorporating local ingredients like capers, anchovies, or olives, adding a briny element that enhances the overall flavor profile. The dish's hearty nature made it ideal for feeding large families or providing sustenance after a long day, often served over pasta, polenta, or alongside a simple salad. Over time, the recipe has remained a staple in many households, prized for its adaptability and the way it can transform humble ingredients into a satisfying meal. Even today, chicken cacciatore represents a connection to traditional Italian home cooking, emphasizing slow preparation and robust flavors. Number 8. Ham and Banana Hollandaise. Ham and Banana Hollandaise is a dish that emerged in the mid-20th century, reflecting a period of culinary experimentation where unusual combinations were popularized. This dish involves wrapping slices of ham around peeled bananas and baking them until the flavors meld. The bananas soften and become more aromatic, while the ham develops a slight crispness on the edges. Once baked, the dish is generously covered with a rich hollandaise sauce, a creamy blend of egg yolks, butter, and lemon juice. The juxtaposition of the salty ham, sweet banana, and tangy sauce creates a distinct flavor profile that was considered quite sophisticated and modern at the time. The recipe was often featured in cookbooks of the 1950s and 1960s, during an era when households were eager to try new and exotic dishes. The unique combination was seen as a way to elevate everyday ingredients into something special, suitable for dinner parties or special occasions. However, as culinary tastes evolved, the popularity of ham and banana hollandaise waned, largely due to its unconventional mix of flavors and textures. Today it is viewed as a quirky relic of mid-century cooking, showcasing the adventurous spirit of post-war home chefs who were not afraid to push the boundaries of traditional American cuisine. Number 9. Chicken Kiev. Chicken Kiev is a classic dish that features a chicken breast filled with a rich herbed butter, which is then breaded and fried to perfection. The origin of chicken Kiev is debated, with some attributing it to French chefs in Russia, while others believe it was created in the kitchens of a luxury restaurant in Moscow. The preparation starts with a chicken breast that is pounded flat and then rolled around a chilled cylinder of garlic and parsley butter. This rolling technique is crucial as it helps the butter stay inside the chicken during cooking, creating a burst of flavor when cut open. After the chicken is stuffed, it is coated in flour, dipped in beaten egg, and then rolled in breadcrumbs to create a crispy outer layer. The breaded chicken is either deep fried or baked until the outside is golden brown and the inside is cooked through, ensuring the butter melts and infuses the chicken with its flavors. Chicken Kiev was especially popular in mid-20th century America, often served at dinner parties for its dramatic presentation and the delicious, buttery surprise it offers. While its popularity has waned in recent years, it remains a beloved dish for its indulgent flavor and the skill required to prepare it correctly. Number 10. Veal Oscar. Veal Oscar is a luxurious dish that combines several gourmet ingredients to create a sophisticated flavor profile. The dish traditionally consists of a tender veal cutlet, which is lightly pounded and sautéed in butter until it is golden and juicy. The veal is then topped with fresh, succulent crab meat, which adds a sweet, delicate flavor that complements the richness of the veal. Asparagus spears are placed on top, providing a fresh, crisp texture and a subtle earthiness that balances the dish's richness. The crowning component of Veal Oscar is the béarnaise sauce, a creamy, tangy sauce made with clarified butter, egg yolks, white wine vinegar, shallots, and fresh tarragon. The sauce's herbal notes and acidity cut through the fattiness of the meat and butter, enhancing the overall taste experience. The origins of Veal Oscar are often linked to Swedish King Oscar II, who was known for his love of both veal and seafood, leading to this unique combination. Traditionally served in fine dining restaurants, Veal Oscar is a dish that showcases the chef's skill in balancing flavors and textures, making it a highlight of classic haute cuisine. Number 11. Pineapple ham steak. Pineapple ham steak became popular in the mid-20th century, reflecting the fascination with sweet and savory combinations in American cuisine. This dish typically features a thick slice of ham, often pan-fried or grilled, with a ring of pineapple placed on top. The pineapple is usually canned, which provides a syrupy sweetness that contrasts with the salty, smoky flavor of the ham. Sometimes the pineapple is glazed with brown sugar, honey, or even a bit of mustard, adding a caramelized, tangy layer to the dish. The juice from the pineapple seeps into the ham, enhancing its flavor and making it tender and juicy. This combination was especially popular in the 1950s and 1960s, when Hawaiian-themed parties and Polynesian-inspired dishes became fashionable. Pineapple ham steak was considered exotic yet accessible, requiring minimal preparation while delivering a taste that felt unique and festive. It was often served with side dishes like rice pilaf or scalloped potatoes, which absorbed the extra juices and complemented the main flavors. Today, while it's less common on modern menus, pineapple ham steak remains a nostalgic favorite for those who remember its heyday, embodying the adventurous spirit of mid-century American cooking. Number 12. Egg foo young. Egg foo young is a classic Chinese-American dish that gained popularity in the mid-20th century, known for its versatility and adaptability to various ingredients. The dish consists of beaten eggs mixed with chopped vegetables, such as bean sprouts, onions, bell peppers, and mushrooms, along with proteins like shrimp, chicken, or pork. This mixture is pan-fried until it forms a fluffy, golden brown omelet, often with a slightly crispy edge. One of the key characteristics of egg foo young is its ability to absorb flavors, making it a customizable dish depending on the available ingredients and personal preferences. Once cooked, egg foo young is typically served with a rich brown gravy made from soy sauce, chicken broth, and cornstarch, which adds a savory depth and enhances the dish's overall flavor profile. The gravy is poured over the omelet, making each bite both satisfying and flavorful. The dish became a staple in American Chinese restaurants due to its simplicity and ability to please diverse palates. It was seen as an approachable way to introduce American diners to Asian flavors, combining familiar elements like eggs and vegetables with the distinctive taste of Chinese seasonings. Despite its decline in popularity with the advent of more authentic Chinese cuisine in the West, egg foo young remains a nostalgic favorite for many. Number 13. Stuffed peppers. Stuffed peppers are a versatile dish that has been enjoyed in many cuisines worldwide, particularly gaining popularity in American households during the 20th century. The classic version involves bell peppers hollowed out and filled with a mixture of ground meat, typically beef or pork, rice, onions, and various seasonings like garlic, paprika, and parsley. This combination is often bound together with tomato sauce or broth, which adds moisture and enhances the flavors during baking. The peppers are then topped with cheese, such as mozzarella or cheddar, and baked until the peppers are tender and the cheese is melted and bubbly. The dish's appeal lies in its adaptability. Stuffed peppers can easily be modified to suit dietary preferences or ingredient availability. Vegetarians might substitute the meat with beans or lentils, while different spices can be added to reflect regional tastes. The bell pepper itself serves as both a vessel and a vegetable, absorbing the flavors of the filling while providing a sweet, mild counterbalance to the savory stuffing. This dish became particularly popular in American cuisine during the 1960s and 1970s, as it was seen as a wholesome, complete meal that could be prepared in advance and baked when needed, making it ideal for family dinners and gatherings. Number 14, chicken Tetrazini. Chicken Tetrazini is a creamy, baked pasta dish named after the famous Italian opera singer Luisa Tetrazini. This dish became popular in American kitchens in the early to mid-20th century due to its rich flavor and comforting texture. It is made with diced chicken or turkey, mushrooms, and a creamy sauce made from butter, flour, chicken broth, and cream, which is mixed with spaghetti or other thin pasta. The sauce is often flavored with sherry or white wine, adding a subtle acidity and complexity that complements the richness of the cream and cheese. The mixture is topped with a layer of breadcrumbs and grated Parmesan cheese, which forms a golden, crispy crust when baked. The inclusion of mushrooms provides a savory earthiness that balances the dish's overall richness. Chicken Tetrazini was a popular choice for potlucks and family gatherings because it could be prepared in advance and baked just before serving, making it convenient for entertaining. The dish's flexibility allows for variations with different proteins, such as seafood or ham, and it remains a nostalgic comfort food for many who grew up enjoying its creamy, cheesy layers. Number 15, beef bourguignon. Beef bourguignon is a traditional French stew that originated in the Burgundy region, known for its use of local red wine to tenderize and flavor the meat. The dish is made with chunks of beef that are first seared to develop a deep, rich flavor, then slowly braised with red wine, beef broth, garlic, onions, and a bouquet garni of herbs like thyme and bay leaves. The slow cooking process allows the tough cuts of beef to break down into a tender, melt-in-your-mouth consistency, while the wine and broth reduce into a thick, savory sauce. Vegetables such as carrots, pearl onions, and mushrooms are typically added to the stew, contributing additional layers of flavor and texture. Traditionally, lardons, small strips of bacon, are used to add a smoky depth, balancing the acidity of the wine and enhancing the overall richness of the dish. Beef bourguignon is often served with crusty bread or over egg noodles, mashed potatoes, or polenta, which soak up the flavorful sauce. It is considered a classic of French peasant cuisine that has been elevated to gourmet status due to its complex flavors and the careful attention required to perfect the dish. Number 16, duck à l'orange. Duck à l'orange is a classic French dish known for its combination of savory and sweet flavors. The dish features a whole duck, traditionally roasted to achieve a crispy skin, while keeping the meat tender and juicy. The key to duck à l'orange is the orange sauce, which is a delicate balance of sweetness, acidity, and a hint of bitterness. This sauce is typically made by combining orange juice and zest with a caramel base, then deglazing with wine or vinegar to add depth. The addition of a rich stock, often duck or chicken, helps to round out the flavors, and the sauce is usually finished with butter to give it a glossy, velvety texture. Duck à l'orange was particularly popularized in the mid-20th century as a fine dining staple, admired for its complex flavor profile and elegant presentation. The dish requires careful preparation, as the orange sauce must be cooked to the right consistency and flavor balance without overpowering the duck. Often garnished with thin slices of orange, the dish is both visually appealing and rich in taste, making it a favorite for special occasions. While its prominence has waned with changing tastes, duck à l'orange remains an iconic example of French culinary artistry that combines the natural richness of duck with the bright, fresh taste of citrus. Number 17, Lobster Thermador. Lobster Thermador is a decadent French dish that showcases lobster meat in a creamy, wine-infused sauce, typically served in the lobster's shell. The dish begins with boiling or steaming the lobster, after which the meat is removed, chopped, and combined with a rich mixture of egg yolks, Dijon mustard, and bechamel sauce, a creamy sauce made from butter, flour, and milk. To this base, dry white wine or cognac is added, imparting a deep, nuanced flavor that enhances the sweetness of the lobster. The mixture is then stuffed back into the lobster shell, topped with a generous amount of grated Gruyere or Parmesan cheese, and broiled until the top is golden and bubbly. The resulting dish is both luxurious and indulgent, combining the tender texture of lobster with a rich, creamy sauce that has a hint of tanginess from the mustard and a subtle nutty flavor from the cheese. Traditionally served with a garnish of fresh herbs, Lobster Thermador is considered a high-end, gourmet entree, often reserved for special occasions or fine dining experiences. Its elaborate preparation and presentation make it a symbol of French culinary sophistication and a favorite among seafood lovers. Number 18. Veal Française. Veal Française is a classic Italian-American dish known for its light, lemony sauce and tender veal cutlets. The preparation begins with thin slices of veal, which are lightly pounded to ensure even cooking. These cutlets are then dipped in flour and an egg wash, creating a delicate coating that crisps up when sautéed in a mixture of olive oil and butter. This frying process gives the veal a golden crust while keeping the inside tender and juicy. Once the veal is cooked, it is removed from the pan, and a simple but flavorful sauce is made using white wine, chicken broth, lemon juice, and capers. The sauce is simmered until it slightly thickens and is then poured over the veal cutlets, infusing them with a zesty, savory flavor. The addition of lemon zest and fresh parsley at the end adds a burst of freshness and color, balancing the richness of the butter and the acidity of the lemon juice. Veal Française is typically served over pasta or alongside vegetables, making it a versatile dish that combines delicate textures with a vibrant, tangy flavor profile. Number 19. Sole Meunière. Sole Meunière is a classic French dish that highlights the delicate flavor and texture of sole, a flatfish known for its fine, flaky flesh. The preparation begins by lightly dredging the sole fillets in flour, which helps achieve a golden, crispy exterior when the fish is cooked. The fillets are then pan-fried in a mixture of butter and a bit of oil to prevent burning, ensuring a rich, buttery flavor while maintaining a perfect light crust. The term meunière refers to this method of cooking, à la meunière, meaning in the style of the miller's wife, which involves a simple preparation using flour and butter. Once the fish is cooked, it is removed from the pan, and additional butter is added to create a nutty, browned butter sauce. Fresh lemon juice is squeezed into the pan to deglaze it, adding a bright, acidic contrast to the rich butter. The sauce is then poured over the fish, and it is typically garnished with chopped parsley for a fresh, herbal note. Sole Meunière is often served with simple sides, such as steamed vegetables or boiled potatoes, allowing the flavors of the fish and sauce to remain the star of the dish. This elegant yet straightforward preparation is revered for its ability to enhance the natural taste of the sole without overpowering it. Number 20. Trout Almondine. Trout Almondine is a refined French dish that emphasizes the delicate flavor of trout, paired with the rich, nutty taste of almonds. The preparation starts with fresh trout fillets, which are seasoned with salt and pepper and then lightly dredged in flour to create a thin, crisp coating when sautéed. The trout is cooked in butter until golden brown, giving it a subtle, buttery flavor that enhances its natural taste. The hallmark of trout almondine is the almond garnish, which involves toasting sliced almonds in butter until they are lightly browned and aromatic. This step not only adds a satisfying crunch, but also infuses the dish with a distinct nuttiness that complements the mildness of the fish. After the almonds are toasted, a squeeze of lemon juice is added to the pan, creating a light, tangy sauce that balances the richness of the butter and almonds. This sauce is then poured over the trout fillets, which are typically served with simple sides like green beans or potatoes to keep the focus on the fish. Trout Almondine is prized for its simplicity and elegance, showcasing how a few quality ingredients can be transformed into a sophisticated dish.